New at 9, a Madison woman and her family were displaced after a fire ripped through their northside apartment Sunday. Amber Zabella says she is staying at an area motel now with her 2 kids thanks to funding from the Red Cross. Though no people were injured in the fire, the family lost one of their cats. Zabella posted an update on her situation to social media, and while she didn't specifically ask for anything, several community members have offered food and supplies.
They seem to be very, very empathetic towards towards situations when it involves children and pets. So I really feel very supported in the Dane County group.
Zabella says she and her kids were supposed to have moved to a new apartment last week, but now must wait until the investigation is complete. The cause of the fire is still unconfirmed.